Look at her, Richard. Look at how magnificent she is. The most deadly hunter ever created. The most deadly dinosaur ever created. And I did it because I'm a mad scientist.
You're mad. You are mad. How can you play God by creating a dinosaur? However, did you do this?
Oh, I just let her listen to this Pod Bros exclusive.
What's up, everybody? I'm Rich.
And I'm Sean.
And we're speaking language bromance.
I want to know why you let out that little sigh before we kicked off. You were just kind of like, here we go again.
Did we? Have we done this? Have we done this before?
I think so. I think we've done this before, haven't we?
Who are you?
Who are you?
Who
am I?
I don't know who I am.
Well, who am I then? Who are you?
You are the other. No, Sean. That is my very terrible way of segueing to what I want to talk to you about today. I want to tell you the story of a man. Man. Yeah, a manly man. He looks like a manly man. Sean, I'm going to tell you today the story of Benjaman Kyle.
B. Kyle?
Yeah, or BK.
BK? Yeah.
But I'm not sure, and neither is he, if that's his actual name. Because, Sean, Benjaman Kyle has a problem, and his problem is the case of post-retrograde amnesia.
Post-retrograde amnesia.
I don't know if the post part should be in there, but the retrograde
PRA? Is that what they call it for short?
Sure. That's what you're going to call it. I know that's what you're going to call it.
I've never heard. So what is this? So post-retrograde amnesia?
So apparently retrograde amnesia is basically that there's a decent chunk of his life that he just doesn't remember.
Oh, so this is like the conspiracy theory you talked about, except like personal. The one where you said like certain pieces of history were like faked.
Well, his isn't fake. I don't know if his are faked. He just doesn't remember anything.
Yeah.
So Sean, I'm gonna take you back. All right, you and we're gonna get in the Wayback Machine.
Yeah, get in the DeLorean,
and we're gonna travel all the way back to the rip-roaring times of August 31st, 2004.
Richard, do you realize you and I were we were just becoming friends then?
Oh, you're right.
I graduated high school. I just started college. You and I wish we would have took pictures the first day we played D&D together, because I'm sure it's got to be about that time.
You would want to take pictures.
No, look, Mom, I really do have friends.
All right, Sean, it's your attack. Hang on, I want to get a selfie.
Laura, I'm just glad he's out of the house.
He's with other men. Oh, no.
Oh, what's he playing? Is that dice?
Oh, God. My son's a gambler. Well, at least he's a gambler. Wait a minute. Oh, not this. Laura, anything but this.
Oh, John, I hear when kids play those games, they go into sewers and hit each other with sticks.
I hope somebody hits him with a stick, Laura. Okay, so August 31st, 2004, at 5 a.m., a Burger King employee in Richmond Hill, Georgia, found Benjaman Kyle unconscious, sunburnt.
In August, makes sense.
And naked.
Naked and afraid?
He's naked and afraid behind a dumpster of the Burger King restaurant.
Oh, you know what he is? He's a Terminator.
Oh my God, you might be right.
I'm here for Sarah Connor.
He just stands up. Give me your clothes. These are girls' clothes. Pulls his hand out. Walks out in a dress. Walks out of the alley in a dress. Somebody walks past the street. Up to each his own, buddy. Actually, that wouldn't happen because this is Georgia.
Yeah. Well, in 2004, I don't know if we're too progressive then yet.
Man in a dress. He had 3 depressions in his skull that appeared to have been caused by blunt force trauma. And he also had red ant bites on his body.
Ouch. So it's like, hey, guess what, BK? Whack, whack, whack. Throw him in the ant pit.
Yep. I want to know, I kind of glimpsed at the end of the story, so I kind of know what happens. But I want to know if he ever figures out how he ended up naked behind the dumpster at the Burger King. That's because to me, like, oh my God, he can't remember anything. Like, that's, okay, that's a story. How somebody ends up naked, covered in fire ants behind the dumpster of a Burger King, to me, that seems just as interesting, if not a more interesting story.
Well, either he stumbled there on his own, or the realistic thing is somebody dumped his body.
Sans clothes.
It's Burger King. They won't notice for a week if it smells bad.
You could have it your way. I want covered in fire ants.
But you know what? That's kind of sad to say because of the fast food restaurants, Burger King's probably at the top of my list. Not the number one, but it beats out a few other ones.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
Their onion rings.
Wendy's is at the top of my list.
You know what? Probably if my go-to, if you're like, fast food restaurant right now, the only place you can go, I'd probably say Dairy Queen.
Really?
Yeah, their burgers are pretty good because they're actual flame broiled.
Yeah. I do. Burger King's up there. I would just like to note that we're not being sponsored by Wendy's or Dairy Queen. So this is
no, we're sponsored by McDonald's.
This is our unbiased opinion right here. Just throwing that out there.
Who we kidding? That Patreon's a little bear. We just eat ramen noodles.
Oh, that's true. After discovering him, employees called emergency services and EMS took him to the hospital in Savannah. He had no identifying documents because he was naked.
License and registration. 1 second. Where are you? Oh,
I'm getting my special wallet.
That's just grody.
I don't want to touch it. Just get the card out and show it to me. He had no identifying documents, and he was recorded in hospital records as Burger King Doe. So they had to call him Burger King Doe? Yeah. Like, John Doe just isn't specific.
Or they could have called him, like, Ant-Man Doe. Because then he could be like, man, maybe I'm a superhero. He could have fought crime. This hospital fucked him.
That's a good point. That would have been the first thing you figure out when you wake up. Be like, oh my God, do I have fire ant powers?
Yeah, I'm Fire Ant Doe. It sounds like you have an ant that's like done something bad at work. Fire Ant Doe. She's a bitch.
I hate Aunt Doe. Always trying to show me pictures of the fucking kids.
Yeah, she comes up and pinches my cheeks, and then she gives me sloppy kisses. It's gross.
Oh, and spit baths. Oh, I hate spit baths. I hated spit baths when I was a kid. I'd run away.
What's a spit bath?
As soon as my mom would walk up to me, licking her thumb, I knew it was coming. I'm like, no!
Yeah. As a dad, have you done that to your kids, though?
Yes.
I know. I've already done that, too. Like, halfway through, I'm like, well, you're still a toddler. You don't know the difference.
Too bad. I dealt with it. And you're going to have to live through that. It's just one of those things. After the incident, no criminal investigation was opened by Richmond Hill police until a friend inquired with the department in 2007. There were no reports of stolen vehicles in the area, and local restaurants and hotels did not encounter any individuals matching his description. 2 weeks later, he was transferred to Memorial Health University Medical Center, where records state he was semi-conscious.
What's semi? I guess coming in and out of consciousness.
I'm guessing. So I guess meaning that like he'd wake up and be like, "Who am I?" And they're like, "Well, we don't know yet." Thunk. Back to sleep.
What can I get you? I want a Whopper and fries.
He's still drunk.
That's a good point. That'd be my first thought. If like there's an unconscious body. Well, one, you'd be like, "Oh God, I hope it's not dead," because that's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah. Well, I think there was a story I read because I looked at a couple first paragraphs of some of these, and the person who found him, that was the first thought. Like, oh God, it's a body. It's a body.
Yeah, and usually the first person that finds the body is the number one suspect.
Mm-hmm. That's why
I've learned that 4 times, and I don't want to talk about it.
So I guess we'll have the closing thought early. If you see a body, walk away and don't tell anybody. That's what we should all learn from this scenario. If you see a body, just walk away. After waking up, when he was asked for his name by hospital staff, he remembered that his name was Benjaman, but he spelled it with 2 A's. So if you look at it the way it's spelled, it looks like it's Benjaman, like Benj.
Was he Jamaican?
No, this guy's whiter than I am.
Benjaman man.
Yeah, this guy's...
You be Benjaman. I be Benjaman too. I hope you be Benjaman too.
No, it's like Benjaman. Apparently that's how he wanted to spell it.
Well, you know, each their own. Prince had a symbol, so why can't he have 2 A's in his name?
Because it looks dumb. I'm sorry.
And the symbol didn't.
You look at it and it looks like Benjaman. It doesn't look like Benjamin. Anyway.
Maybe he really liked Forrest Gump.
But he could not recall his last name. He came up with the surname Kyle from his police and hospital placeholder name.
Why would they pick Kyle? It was Burger King Doe.
I don't know. But if you think about it, the initials Benjaman Kyle would be BK.
Yeah. But you think he'd be like Benjaman.
Well, he probably didn't want to call himself like Whopper with cheese.
I don't know. A double Whopper with cheese probably get you. Maybe it was Royale with cheese.
No, you're thinking of McDonald's in France.
Yeah. Whenever I go to McDonald's and I eat McDonald's, I feel horrible. I feel bad about myself.
I have not eaten at McDonald's in years.
I only eat when we're on long drives and it's the only thing near the gas station.
Actually, I think the last time I ate McDonald's, I was with you because that's where you stopped.
Yeah. Because whenever you got to stop to get gas, it's like the most convenient thing right there.
So I blame you.
Sorry.
You're not sorry.
No.
You're not sorry.
If there's a Dairy Queen, we would have went there. And you could have got a Blizzard.
And then that would have been my name. I think my name's Richard. What about last name? Blizzard. You don't want to be like, a basket meal? No. Richard Blizzard.
Are you like an American Gladiator?
If you were an American Gladiator, what would your name be?
Snowfire.
Climate change.
Because you're fake and not real.
I hate you. So he came up with the surname Kyle. He had woken up with cataracts in both eyes, which were not fixed until 9 months later when a charity raised enough money to pay for an operation. Upon seeing himself in the mirror for the first time, Kyle realized he was around 20 years older than he thought he was.
Oh, shit. So he lost 20 years of his life.
And just looking in a mirror. It's like an Indiana Jones movie. He holds up the mirror. It's like, oh my God.
I missed prom. I feel like that would be the worst thing in the world. Like, could you imagine, Richard, you go to bed tonight and you wake up. Let's say you don't even end up naked behind a Burger King. You just wake up in your own bed. You get up, you're like, I don't remember ever having these clothes. I don't remember going to bed in these. These don't even look familiar. You walk over, you take your pee. It kind of hurts. You try to poop because everybody does a morning deuce, and you struggle with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you get up, brush your teeth, and you wash your face off with some water, and you look in the mirror, and your beard is just gray, and you're 20 years older than what you are now. You're bald, gray in your beard.
That would fuck
with your
me.
head.
It would. That would totally fuck with your head. I mean, I'll say now. Okay, so I'm 35 now, but I do not in my head. I do not feel 35.
Yeah, I'm 31, and I don't feel 31.
I don't really in my head. I feel like I'm 22ish, 22, 20. Somewhere between 22 and 24, around there, roughly.
Do you think that's just our generation, or do you think the generation before us, they feel like their age?
I don't know. Or does it vary from person to person?
Yeah, maybe. Well, because I know 2 generations back, my grandpa, he feels his age. Because he's when I was 8, I was fucking plowing the field with mules. You lazy son of a bitch. Grandpa, I just want to go watch cartoons and play video games. John, take your kid out of here.
God, I hate the small ones. No sense of work. Oh, So, okay, so he woke up and he thought he was 20 years older. So I'm wondering if that means that the amnesia, it basically cut off the last 20 years.
Oh, it's like Total Recall, except in reverse.
But I would think if it, okay, let's say that it cut off the last 20 years, then I would think that you would still know who the fuck you are. Because this guy...
Well, it depends on how old was he? I mean, if he was like, if he was 24, it'd be really fucked up. You'd be like, where's my mom?
At this point, he was like almost 60.
Oh, shit. Yeah, because he would have thought he'd been 40.
So, yeah, so you'd still know, you'd still know your goddamn name.
Although, they do talk about like people who have amnesia, like they can still speak, they can remember some of the stuff from their past, but they don't remember like their names or people and stuff like that. So, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense.
God, that would be fucking horrible.
Oh, yeah. It'd be like a Memento. Like you only remember the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Fuck with your head.
That's fucked up. Didn't JJ do that movie? Who did that movie?
No, it was the dude that did Batman. Nolan. I think it was Nolan.
Oh, you're right.
Which is surprising because it's actually a good movie.
Very good movie. Kyle believed he was passing through Richmond Hill, Georgia on either U.S. Route 17 or Interstate 95 in late August. He may also have been on the road because of Hurricane Charlie, which had hit earlier that month. But this is him just guessing. He's like, I think I was on the road. I think I was driving. I don't know what happened to the car or my clothes or my name, but
I did have an ant collection.
And it turns out, don't have ant powers. I checked. I tried to lift that thing up because it looked like it was 10 times my body weight. Just dropped it on myself. It was terrible.
It didn't budge one bit.
After being released from the hospital, he spent several years between the Grace House Men's Shelter and hospitals. In 2007, while at the J.C. Lewis Healthcare Center, he met a nurse who first inquired about his past history. The nurse helped support Kyle financially while he earned about $100 a month, mostly doing yard work. Well, yeah, because apparently they ran his fingerprints. This was another story about it. They ran his fingerprints. Didn't come up in any like criminal databases or anything like that.
I thought that was fake. I didn't think that was real. Like, I didn't think you could run fingerprints through a database, or maybe it's more by hand. Like, it's not like the CSI where they like do the fingerprint, like computer's like boop, 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 boop. No match.
Yeah. No, I don't think
it's like that.
No, I don't think
it's like some dude like, nope.
I actually I saw somewhere that the whole like when you watch one of the CSI shows and they have they do like camera footage and they're like freeze it right there. And they freeze it, and they're like, "Okay, enhance grid 7A," and then they bring it up. Like, that doesn't work.
Yeah,
like it just comes. It just comes up a big grainy bit of the picture.
Yeah, because most cameras are like from the '80s that are up in like surveillance, so they're like real shitty. They're not even 1080p, Richard.
Oh my god,
they don't even have any P in them. They have P on them, but not in them.
Not even an I. There's no P. There's no I.
Sometimes they don't even work, from what I hear. They're not even on. They're like there for decoration.
They're there as a deterrent.
Yeah.
The Walmart in the town that I live in, I've always heard this rumor that they have all those cameras, but only like 2 of them work.
I've heard like different places like they'll show the feed like so everybody can see it, but it's not really like recording anything.
Right. Yeah, that one too. So you see, we're all just sheep, Sean.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Well, it's just like when I was a kid, or not a kid, when I was like 16, and I'd drive somewhere, and I'd have my windows down in my car. I would always lock my car doors.
If you had the windows down, you'd lock the car doors?
Yeah. Well, because my thought was it's like a deterrent. So somebody's like, oh, I'm going to break into this car. And they go and they pull on the door handle, and it'd be locked. They'd be like, and they run off.
Because criminals are stupid. They wouldn't have the wherewithal to just reach in and go click and then open the door.
Well, Richard, ask me how many times my CDs were stolen.
How many?
37. But that's beside the point.
I had all my CDs stolen.
The only time I've ever had any of my CDs stolen, there was a kid. So this was even before I could drive. I had this was like in the time where you had the big CD case.
Me too. Yep.
Always have to have the sticker to slap on. This is something that kids don't understand. Like they have it on their iPod, They don't know that you have to go into the store, buy the CD. Somebody fucks it up, so you have to go buy another one.
Hashtag the struggle.
Yeah.
And they were $20 a pop.
Yeah, shit was expensive.
Yeah, it was.
So you'd go. So I was on the bus. Kid's like, "Hey, can I see your CDs?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever," because you like to show them off, right?
Right.
And as you look through them, I was like, something seems sketchy. And so I went back through my CDs, and Richard, one of my Godsmack CDs, was missing. The very first Godsmack CD.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was actually the better one.
That was that was a rare CD that you could just hit repeat, or you could hit shuffle.
Yeah.
And be okay with, because like you set a CD on shuffle and something comes up, and you 9 times out of 10 you're compelled to be like, not this right now.
Yeah.
But
I feel that.
That CD was a rare one in the sense that you could put it on shuffle and you'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I could buy that. But then as I went through it, it was missing. So I was like, "Hey, did you by chance see my Godsmack CD?" He's like, "Nope." And he was bigger than me, so I was scared. I didn't want to fight him because he'd kick my ass.
You want to smack what? Nothing.
Enjoy my CD. What, nerd? Nothing. Happy birthday.
Yeah, I had all my CDs stolen. Ironically, it was I went to the movies, and this was when Amanda and I were dating. We went to the movies, and we were sitting in the theater, and I cannot for the life of me remember what movie we watched, but I do remember that one of the trailers for that movie was Gone in 60 Seconds. And I actually had the thought, I'm like, did I lock the car? I'm like, yeah, I locked the car. I totally locked the car. I didn't lock the car, Sean.
How many CDs got stolen?
It was over 100.
Oh.
It was my whole book. My whole book was gone.
That sucks.
It did suck. Thank God for Napster.
Oh, yeah, good point. Well, and now, Spotify, you can get them for free, or it's $10 a month and you get everything.
Right. And that was the thing, is with Napster, I was always just like, oh, I'll get the music back that was stolen. That was what I did. I downloaded music. I don't feel like I should I admit this over the internet?
Oh, I was like, you probably need to tell kids what Napster is.
I downloaded music, but the songs that I downloaded were all they were all off CDs that I had stolen.
Yeah, pretty much anything I downloaded off there, if I didn't have the CD already, I'd listen to bands. I'm like, I wonder if I like these guys. And if I did, I'd go buy it. Because I was a 14-year-old kid.
Right.
And how I bought my CDs, Richard, my mom gave me $20 every 2 weeks. And it was my lunch money. So I could use $20 a week or $20 every 2 weeks for lunch at school. Or if I starved myself, I could buy a CD every 2 weeks.
Nice. Guess
what I did, Richard?
I got it from, how Midwest is this? I got it from detasseling corn.
I always wanted to do those summer jobs, but never got a chance to.
That was good money, but fuck, that was hard.
Oh, I bet, during that summertime.
Oh.
But so this got me thinking, so a band, Stone Sour, just came out with their new album. So this is kind of the new age thing. So Spotify, so what these bands do is they put out 2 or 3 songs before the CD even comes out.
Okay.
Because before, you'd only hear one song, right? You'd be like, here's the song from the album. It's, the headlining song off the album. It's the only one you know about. Then the album releases, so you have to go buy it. But now, 3-4 months before the CD releases, you get 4 songs.
Yeah.
And it really hurts me when I go to listen to the album because I instantly skip to the 4 songs I know.
Oh, I gotcha.
Because I've listened to them on repeat for the last 3
Yeah,
months.
but when I was a kid, I did that too. You'd hear, except it was the radio. You'd hear a song on the radio, and you're like, "Oh, I really like that." You go buy the CD, and you would instantly go to the song that you heard off of the radio on that CD.
Yeah, but you weren't listening to that song on repeat already, though. And plus, it wasn't it feels like it's something where if half the songs you've already heard, you're more apt to skip. And plus, it's not like I have the 1 hour bus ride anymore. And plus, there's podcasts now, which take up a ton of my time.
Yeah.
There's just too much content in this world, Richard.
So much between Netflix and Hulu and Amazon and podcasts and Spotify and just the internet.
Sometimes I just want to take off all my clothes, go lay in a fire ant hill, and then pass out behind a Burger King.
Get back to the simplicity of life.
Oh, shit, 2004, too. If you want to travel back in time, it was Napster. Facebook was just starting, so that was really the only social media. The social media before that was MySpace.
God, was it that, or did Facebook start all the way back in 2004?
I think it started at that college that he started.
YouTube
in
had just shown up.
Maybe, yeah. Because I didn't get Facebook until the summer of 05 because like it just got to my college. Because at that point you had to...
I stayed off of social media. I didn't have a MySpace page. I was there for the era of MySpace, but I didn't have a MySpace page.
I got one because my buddy JJ had one. He said, "Oh, you have to get on it. It's so cool." And I started it up and I was like, "This is dumb." And then I got hacked at some point, so it said like I was from Afghanistan.
Nice. And in that era, that's when Sean hid behind a dumpster.
Yeah.
Okay, so he earned $100 a month, mostly doing yard work. And I'll tell you why. Here's why all he was doing was yard work, because he didn't know who he was. He had no identification. So how's he going to get a job?
Yeah, how's he going to get like a social security number? Like, do they consider him
He doesn't have a social security number?
Like, do they consider him an American citizen at that point?
I don't know.
That's the questions I want answered.
Here's what I think, and this is really shitty, but I think they looked at him and it's like, oh, it's an old white guy. He must be American.
Yeah, maybe. Or he'd been at the hospital so long, like, listen, this is gonna be a shit ton of paperwork. He's gonna live. Just shoo him out and let him be somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
Like, if it wasn't for that nurse, he'd be just probably some homeless dude in the streets begging.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's like you said, no social security number, no sort of identification. Apparently, they tested his DNA. They did a DNA test. They did fingerprints to try to match him to something. They couldn't come up with anything.
Did they take a semen sample? See if he had anything in any sperm banks?
Well, I don't know. I didn't ask. That's a little personal, don't you think?
Well, it's desperate times. You got to figure stuff out.
He opens up the door. I don't remember much, but I remember I like doing this.
I forgot a lot of things, but I didn't forget how to do this.
It's like riding a bike.
You kind of fumble around for a little bit, but once you get it going, you've got it just figured out.
Oh, my teenage years.
This is fun. You say your teenage years?
Yeah. While driving her truck in a yard, Kyle discovered that he still remembered how to drive a car. I like the fact that he was in the car and driving when he figured out that he remembered how to drive. Oh, yeah, I remember this. Meanwhile, somebody's in the passenger seat going, I don't think you remember it that well. He was diagnosed with dissociative amnesia in 2007 by somebody named Jason A. King in Atlanta. King suggested that Kyle's amnesia dates from August 31st, 2004. Georgia Legal Services did not obtain medical records because Memorial Health requested an $800 fee.
He's like, you saw when I came in, right? I didn't even have clothes on my back, literally.
Why would it? Yeah, like, oh, that'll be $800. Be like, yeah, let me just pull it out of my skin wallet. What do you?
I should have passed out behind a Burger King in Canada.
Just let me go back to sleep. A friend contacted Georgia Congressman Jack Kingston to help with the case. To help with Kyle's identification, Kingston's office sent DNA samples to the FBI.
There's a lot of dudes and stuff in this with the K as their last name. Kingsman. The one dude you mentioned was King.
Yeah. Maybe it's
Sounds
so
like
you're saying it's just association. Maybe that's why he wanted his last name to be Kyle.
Maybe, yeah.
Like everybody's got K's. I want to be Kyle. That's who I want to be. Let's see. In 2008, he was on the Dr. Phil show.
What's your Dr. Phil impersonation like?
I gotta find it. Hang on. That dog don't hunt. Doesn't he's it's like Texas colloquialisms and in a shitty trash accent, right?
So you drink your... Yeah, I can't do it. I was like going like a Winchester almost. More like a... oh shit, I don't remember the dude's name from Supernatural.
Like Bobby?
I wish I could... Yeah, Bobby. I really wish I could do impersonations. I can hear him in my head, and it's like, "Hello, Governor."
I wish you could too. I really do. In 2011, he was approached by Florida State University's College of Motion Picture Arts. Oh, no, a graduate student from Florida State. Kyle moved to Jacksonville, Florida, traveling on foot in order to be filmed for the documentary. In 2011, with the help from Florida State Representative Mike Weinstein. How does he know all these I don't know any of these. How does he know all these congressmen? State representative, Georgia congressman.
Well, it's interesting. It's like, this is one dude. Like, there are like, I don't know how many homeless people there are in America that could probably use just as much help. But this like one dude is like, hey, we got to help this guy.
Yeah.
He had amnesia. Meanwhile, some dude's like, I'm so cold.
I have amnesia too. That's an excellent point, Sean.
Yeah. See, I have a heart.
Yeah, that's your generosity. You should be careful. Your soul is showing. Fucking robot. I just want. Okay, wait. So before we started this show, I was talking about that. It's an older game. It came out a few years ago. I was talking about that game, The Last of Us, and I was like, first 15 minutes, I was like, I bawled like a baby, bawled like a girl with a skin knee. Like, that one got to me. He's like, oh, what is it? So I played it for him. First 15 minutes of The Last of Us, and nothing. Stone face. You know what he did at the end of it? Made a joke.
I did. Well, it was kind of I didn't like how they spoilers killed the girl.
Yeah, nobody likes it.
Well, no, I think there could have been like I was prepped for like when they got to the vehicle.
Wish they would have shot her in the face.
Well, no, I was expecting like the thing that would have made me cry is if the dad like had to like for him to survive, like his daughter was like basically being sacrificed almost. Like when they got in the vehicle, like she was getting pulled out and his brother or whatever pulled him into the car. I mean, it seemed too much of a trope to be like, oh, I got shot at. I'm fine, but kid's dead.
This is what I'm working with.
Yeah.
Fucking robot.
Sorry. I did cry at the end of my Madden game the other day.
Why? Because
I won the Super Bowl for the 37th time.
God, you're terrible. Kyle was able to obtain a legal government-issued Florida legacy ID with the help of this state representative. But like you said, meanwhile, there's somebody like sitting on a heating grate on the street going, I'm cold.
Yeah.
Shut up, loser.
I wouldn't mind to live in Florida. Chicago gets cold in the winter.
You're just trying to buy booze with your legal ID.
You're what's wrong with America, not this dude Kyle who doesn't even know who he is.
That's the thing he could have been this guy could have been a terrible person. Could have killed somebody.
Oh yeah.
Like let's say
he could have just been a good liar.
Yeah, cuz like I said, they ran his fingerprints and all this. Like it may be, oh no, he doesn't have a criminal record. Yeah, but maybe he killed somebody and that's how he ended up behind the dumpster.
Oh, it's like
what if he killed somebody? Like that. What if he killed somebody and then in order to mask the guilt of, like killing another human being, he just like drank himself stupid and then took off all his clothes and laid on a fire ant-hill and he's like, take me, ants, just take me. I can't live with this pain in my heart.
And for days he's just like, ow, 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 ow.
God, that would suck. They used to do that. Wasn't that like a form of execution for people? They would
they used to like
tie them down.
I think they used to bury them like to their neck and then let the ants chew on their face.
Oh God.
They'd pour honey on their face and the ants would be like, oh, look, the meaty part. Nom, 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 nom.
See, that's when you pray for bears.
Yeah.
If I have a face covered in honey, I'm like, whoa. I'm like trying to remember what baby bears sound like. Please.
Pooh Bear. Pooh Bear.
Just take me, bear. Please.
Hey, Yogi.
I won't struggle. I have a delicious picnic basket for you.
Oh, the bear just licks your face for 20 minutes and
no.
leaves. Finish the job, bear.
And then shits on you. Or not even on you, just like next to you.
Yeah.
This is the worst. So this guy gets a driver's license. I mean, I get the amnesia thing, but so now I think the lesson here for other homeless people is just fake amnesia.
Yeah.
And then hopefully you'll end up on your feet after a minute.
Or if you decide to run around naked and get caught, you fake your amnesia.
Yeah. Kyle's story appeared in a report on News 4 Jacksonville, which caught the attention of a local business owner who currently employs Kyle as a dishwasher and pays him out of pocket.
So he doesn't pay him at all.
Oh, too bad about the amnesia. Here's $10.
He's like, oh, I know what actually happened, Kyle. I know what you did. You want me to fucking tell people what you did, Kyle? Well, you work back here for free.
Yeah, he's like, what'd I do? I don't remember.
Oh, fuck it. You go to jail, Kyle. That's what's going to happen. So you're going to wash dishes for free. Okay.
I don't want to go to jail.
I'll give you bits of information on plates of food.
You were a beautiful dancer. As of January 2015, he lives in Jacksonville Beach, Florida, in a 5 by 6 foot air-conditioned shack provided by a Good Samaritan.
5 by 6 foot?
5 foot by 6 foot.
That's like just big enough for a mattress.
Yeah.
Ooh, but could you imagine it, like how cool you can make that though with air conditioning?
Yeah.
Like if you had a little window unit, that thing would be like an ice box.
And it's Florida, so
nice.
that wouldn't be. You need that.
Well, and if he's like close to the beach too, like that's actually not a bad deal.
Yeah, because he's in Jacksonville Beach. He's like, this amnesia is the best thing ever happened.
He was actually married with like 3 kids, hated his job. He's like, fuck this. I'm going to Georgia.
Glug. Come here, fire ants.
Whack. I thought I could drink the pain away, but it didn't work.
For many years after his amnesia, Kyle was homeless and had been unable to obtain employment as he was unable to remember his full Social Security number. Several online petitions were created asking lawmakers to grant Kyle a new number. In 2012, an online petition was created on the We the People petitioning system on whitehouse.gov, but only got 2/3 of the required signatures by its deadline on December 25th and failed.
Is this like the Comey 2016? Like you see a post on Facebook, so everybody's like trying to get behind this cause that they know nothing about.
Maybe it's like when you see people, that people that do those pranks where they set up like a booth and they're like, we wanted to talk to you about the dangers of bihydrogen oxide.
Oh, yeah, where it's like water or air or something like that. Yeah. Like, oh, this is a horrible thing. Sign me up.
You're stupid.
I'm smarter than you because I know chemistry.
In February 2015, forensic genealogist Colleen Fitzpatrick reported that Kyle had cut off all contact with her when she reported that she was coming close to finding a DNA match. He's like, no, I think you actually had a wife and 3 kids. No. What's that? You're cutting out. I can't remember this call. Click.
I don't remember Cindy, Steve, Samantha, and Katie. Ah, shit. Johnson's. God damn it. Click.
And then you find him drunk behind a Wendy's. Not again.
This time it was just beetle bites.
I couldn't find an anthill. It's Florida. I didn't want to lay too. I mean, there were gators, but I didn't want to go that far. On September 16th of 2015, Kyle announced that his real identity had been found.
Oh, do you think they do like the that TV show where they come in, they redo your house, and you're standing in front of the big, RV and they pull it away and like you see your brand new house?
Yeah.
What if they did that reveal for this? Like, this is your life.
It's a 2-room shack with an air conditioner in it.
I was just thinking, like, they pull away. It's the police officer. It's like, yeah, you're wanted for murder. Oh, damn it.
Murder for who? What? Glug, 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 thump. Whack, whack, whack.
I have amnesia. You can't arrest me.
It's the amnesia defense. Gets him every time. He said that he would not be announcing his name yet for his family's privacy. So apparently he knows. So as of now, he apparently knows who he is, but he's not saying who he is. But I looked on Wikipedia, and according to Wikipedia, he does have a full name.
Yeah, that he hasn't released yet because then he's got responsibilities he needs to fulfill.
Responsibilities with the Department of Corrections.
Or a wife. All right, Chuck, you got a big ass honey-do list that you need to make up.
The doctor treating him said he was feigning amnesia. He seemed too lucid to be suffering from schizophrenia, and his memory for impersonal facts remained unimpaired. He was aware, for example, that George W. Bush was president and that in 2003, the United States had invaded Iraq for the second time. Only his own past was hazy.
That seems sketchy.
Pretending to lose your memory in this way is an old trick, not uncommon among people running away from something. Because that's my thing. That's what I said all the way at the beginning of this, was that, guy loses his memory and then has to build a life not remembering who he was. Like, yeah, that's a very compelling story. How somebody ends up how somebody ends up unconscious with a bash mark over his head, covered in fire ant bites, and naked behind a dumpster at a Burger King in Georgia. That to me is also a very interesting story. Apparently, this guy lived or lives in Indiana. So how the fuck did he end up behind a dumpster in Georgia?
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, so the story is like it's what we've been talking about. Like, he's got a wife and 3 kids, 2 dogs. Job he hates. Like, he's driving on the highway getting ready to take the exit for his work. He's like, you know what? Fuck this.
We've all had that moment. We've all had that moment where you're driving either to work or you're driving, and you're just like, you know what? How far would this tank of gas get me?
Yeah.
Like, you just drive until you're pumping fumes and then just get out and walk.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just pull out some money out of the bank account and just keep filling the tank up until you get far, far away from all your problems. But you know what happens with guys like us, Richard? We turn right. We turn onto that off ramp and go to work.
Yes, we do.
This dude, he kept going.
Yeah, he did.
He says, fuck it. He gets to Georgia. He's like,
that's why
I'm done.
Where's the fire ants at? He went to the fire ant preserve. It was like, take me, my small red-blooded creatures.
No, this is a good. So he gets to Georgia, and he's like, I'm sure my wife is called. There's no calls from his wife or work. Work doesn't even give a fuck that he's not there.
It's 2003, so he flips his little phone up. And he's like,
flips his
no messages.
He's sending crappy picture messages that are not going through to his wife and kids.
Doesn't have GP. No, those phones had GPS.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. I think you could used to get text message directions.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so he's in Georgia for a few days, and he ends up he's there for weeks, let's say, and he finds out nobody cares. He's like, well, if nobody cares about whatever his real name was, then the world doesn't care about me. Go.
Here comes the fire ants, and he just looks at the hill and he's like, that's it. This is how I'll end it.
Yeah, and
just
so
buries his head in there.
The ants are the ones that carry him behind Burger King. It's like, this dude stinks. He wakes up
I think
naked.
He shit himself.
Wakes up naked, bitten by ants, and the kid that works at Burger King walks out. I was like, hey, mister, please don't be dead.
I don't want to have to talk to the police. I have a dime on me. I can't handle this right now. I'm so high.
Boss said if there's another dead body behind the curb, I'm fired. So he wakes up and kid's like, hey, mister, what's your name? He's like, I don't remember.
Other staff of the hospital, however, believed Kyle because the man's distress seemed genuine.
Oh yeah, he's naked in a hospital, bitten by bugs, and he doesn't have money to pay for it. I'd be stressed out too.
So he in 2005 he lived in a residence for homeless and indigent in downtown Savannah.
Indignant? That seems kind of harsh.
He told Michael Elliott, the person who oversaw the center, that he was tired of everyone calling him BK Doe, and he said he thought his real name was Benjaman, spelled with the 2 A's. He decided on Kyle as a replacement. And I don't know, why did he pick... I want to know why he picked that one.
Yeah, you'd think if you're BK, you'd like pick a different first name and a different last name, so you didn't have those initials.
Yeah, because
you're still BK Doe.
Exactly. Like, yeah, if you want to be BK Doe, you should be like, my name's Thomas Savannah, because we live in Savannah.
Dave Quagmire. Like, DQ? Damn it.
My name is Ronald McDonald. Benjaman Kyle quickly became a favorite of the nurses. One nurse remembered him as, quote, higher functioning than the other residents, most of whom were chronically homeless, and he enjoyed reading his way through the shelter's tiny library.
Oh, shit.
That's kind of bullshit. He's higher functioning than the other residents. Oh, he's dumb.
I was just thinking, like, you get rid of all your responsibilities, like all the books you could read. It's like the Twilight Zone where everybody dies but the one dude. He gets to read all the books at once.
No, but in the Twilight Zone episode, his glasses break, and so he can't read anything.
Well, that's what happens when you have bad genes and your eyes suck.
It's not fair.
I have superior eyesight,
The whole end of the
Richard.
episode is him with his glasses going, no, it's not fair.
Yeah.
It's not fair. It's Burgess Meredith. That was the Penguin. That was that was OG Penguin.
Nice.
Batman 66 Penguin.
You know, it's kind of amazing. Like, you think today if that happened, like kids or people would be like, oh my God, I could watch all the movies and TV I want. But you couldn't because electricity would be gone.
Yeah.
And you'd have to read books. And they'd be like, it's not fair.
I don't know how this works.
Entertain me, book. Thunk.
Just sets it on TV stand. What about audio?
Does this go in the VCR?
I can listen to books on tape. Nope. Oh, shit.
Guess here comes the fire ants and beer. Whap, whap, whap.
Several centuries ago, anonymity was rare. Before the Industrial Revolution, most people lived the entirety of their lives in rural villages of their birth. Neighbors recognized each other by sight. Visitors, if they appeared, were conspicuous. Only travelers carried identification papers. Churches maintained birth records, but no government authority was needed to keep track of who was who. That's true. And, you know, like, think about it. Like 100 years ago, you know, if you're like, you know, if you were this guy and you're like, you know what? I'm just tired of life. You just pick your shit up and move like,
oh yeah,
move like 20 miles away, and then you just start a whole new life.
Yeah. Oh, look, a mystery stranger.
My name is Burger King. Hello, I'm Ronald McDonald.
I'm Dr. Ronald McDonald. I'm going to open up a new practice.
I don't deal with all the blood stuff. I just do, I'm a chiropractor. What's that? We work on legs and...
Come here.
I mean...
We work on legs. It's very scientific.
It's a new tactic I brought all the way from the Orient. Look at my hat.
That's what they always talk about, like the world, like, you know, then like there was so much unknown that like you'd think the world was bigger then, but really, or it was bigger then, I guess, but like the world's just gotten so much smaller.
Yeah, it has.
Like then you show up in a town, like people are like, who the fuck is this dude coming in with his clean pants and his ant bites?
Special Agent Bill Kirkconnell agreed
Another
to...
K.
Yeah. That's the conspiracy. He agreed to take fingerprints and feed them into the FBI's national database. The FBI fingerprint database is the largest in the world, containing 113 million sets of prints. And they also placed his photo on its missing persons page. He was the first person ever to be classified as missing, even though his location was known.
Interesting. You know, like today, like this wouldn't happen because people would be sharing this shit on Facebook.
Right.
So, like, Tom decides, like, he does the whole, like, fuck it, I'm leaving.
Well, but, okay, I agree with you to a point, but, I mean, the internet was around in 2004, 5, 6, 7. We had iPhones in 2007.
Yeah, but we didn't have social media like it is today, like the sharing and stuff like
that. I agree. We didn't have, like, we had Twitter. We didn't have Twitter. We had the very beginnings of Facebook.
Yeah, but that was only college kids. And college kids would be like, who the fuck is this dude? Doesn't even know who his name is.
I don't need your picture on here, old man.
Yeah. I just want to figure out where the party is tonight.
This isn't your dad's social media. This is Facebook.
Oh, but in 3 years, it was your dad's social media.
Yeah, it was.
Now grandma's on there.
He was listed in the FBI database as an unidentified living person. In 2007, he was frustrated with the lack of in 2007, having grown frustrated with the lack of progress, Slater, who was another FBI agent, decided to contact the media. If enough people saw his picture, she reasoned, someone would eventually come forward to identify him. He was featured in the Savannah Morning News. He was on the Dr. Phil show, and apparently, eventually he was found. But so here's my thing, and I got to find this bit in the story. If apparently he had, like a family or whatever, what did they think happened? And why didn't they report anything? Why weren't they like, hey, my husband, my dad, my brother, my kid has gone missing. Here's his picture.
Yeah, but think about it. I mean, he's like one in probably like, what, tens of thousands of missing people probably reported a year. If they were in Indiana and he was all the way in Georgia, like how many missing people do you know in Indiana right now?
Yeah. But I'm not looking. Apparently
he wasn't looking for it either.
Well, yeah, but his picture's still in the databases and everything else.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think there's any like program that can match him up. At least back then, so it'd be somebody by hand being like, "Oh, here's missing Steve. Oh, here's missing Burger King."
You mean it's not like like CSI?
No, it might be now because with webcams and stuff like that, they have our faces everywhere.
Yep. NSA.
Yep. Hi.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Hang on. Oh, damn it. I'm almost there. Okay. One morning in June, I got a call from CC Moore. When I answered, she said, "We found him." It took me several moments to process this, and even when it dawned on me what she meant, I couldn't fully take it in. When she had called Kyle and told him the news, he hung up quickly, and now he wasn't answering his phone. I called Kyle and left a message telling him to let me know he was okay. An hour later, he finally called back. He was breathing hard and his voice had climbed an octave. I guess I'm in shock. I have so many thoughts running through my head about how I'm going to handle this. I don't know. I seem to be having a hard time focusing. In his mind, he's going, shit, they found her. Oh, God.
Had a good run.
Moore had given Kyle a quick sketch of his life, what little she had been able to find of it in the few hours of Googling.
So he's been missing person for like 10 years. He's like, listen, I just started using this new thing called Google. And yeah, you've got 3 kids and a wife.
Well, no, I'm guessing they found his name. And once they figured out who his name really is, then you just do a Google search on it.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if like they could do the reverse image search on Google and probably find him now.
Yeah, probably.
But I mean, especially now with everybody having social media.
Yeah.
Drop your picture in there. It's like, oh yeah, you're this dude, or you're this porn star. We're not sure which.
She says he's from Indiana. I asked. I meant he, him. I don't know. He said after 11 years, I never thought they'd get it. Then I just came out of the blue. The final clue surfaced as a result of C.C. Moore's feud with Colleen Fitzpatrick, a genealogist in South Carolina. A member of the Powell family had seen a post about it on Facebook and reached out to Moore. She happened to be on her way to a family reunion where she took several DNA samples from distant cousins. Well, I don't want to know the story about that.
Yeah, that seems a little bit too south.
I need your DNA for a quick second. Cousin Doris. I never thought you'd ask. The samples helped fill in several missing branches in Kyle's genetic family tree. Let's see. It appeared Kyle had also been wrong about his birthday, his birth certificate, but they hadn't been able to track down a birth certificate yet, but two websites showed a William Powell born in 1951, not 1948. So apparently he was born in 51. The Powell house is a... Oh, hang on. Let me skip forward. Powell household. The Powell household had been fractious and frightening. Marjorie's mother, who I'm guessing is one of the Powells, had a hoarding problem, filling closets with unworn clothes and porcelain angels. Furman Sr. was a quiet, angry man who drank a lot and seldom spoke of his military service, but Furman Jr. suspected that today he would be diagnosed with PTSD. Beginning in his early adolescence, William became the target of his father's wrath. God, that sucks. So at this point, he's like, you know what? I like this life better.
So like they're telling him all these things that happened to him.
Yeah,
basically?
Yeah. They're saying, "Oh, your dad was an angry drunk that beat the shit out of you."
Nice. They're like, "How do you like your life in your shack with the air conditioning?" He's like, "Meh, it's a living." It's like, "Okay, well, get ready for all these terrible emotions we're gonna feed you."
Furman declined to describe the specifics of the abuse other than to say that it was regular and brutal. It seemed possible, though, that such sustained abuse could have primed William for dissociative amnesia. When William turned 16, he left home to live with another family across town. For several years, he held odd jobs in Lafayette. He was the janitor at a strip club.
Oh, that's a good gig.
Right? Not
I
bad.
won't forget that part.
Oh, I remember those days. It's all coming back to me now. He walks through a strip club. He's like, this seems so familiar to me.
It's all coming back. It's all coming back to me now.
He was a loader in the warehouse of a factory, a handyman at a movie theater. In 1973, when he was 25, he moved into a mobile home a few miles north of Lafayette on a property owned by a family named Richardson. He ate dinner with the family every night, but otherwise he spent most of his time alone reading and listening to music.
Dark Side of the Moon.
In 1976, he disappeared after he missed dinner one night. One of the Richardson children checked his trailer, and in it they found all of his things: stereo, tools, books, but no Powell. A few days later, Powell's car, a 66 Rambler station wagon, was discovered and abandoned several miles upriver near the Oakdale Dam. His family feared the worst, and Furman filed a missing persons report with state police. The police, however, quickly located him. He was living in Boulder, Colorado, working as a cook at a family restaurant.
So he had a history of going missing.
Apparently so.
He's like, damn it, every time I use my real name, they find me.
Puzzled, Furman sent letters, but William never responded. For years, no one heard from him. Their mother never got over the loss of her favorite son. After she died in 1996, Furman and Roberts settled her estate, and Furman asked a friend in Army intelligence to run a background check on his brother to see if he could be contacted. To his surprise, there appeared to be no record of William Powell, no phone number, address, or mortgage. It was as if he had never existed. When Furman had last seen William, he had been a heavy smoker and a heavy drinker. So the family just kind of wrote him off because I guess he had a history of it.
And then he ends up, that goes back to the point, like, how did he end up behind a Burger King? Because
yeah,
sounds like they lost track of him around 96. So about 8 years later, he comes back behind Burger King.
The discovery of Benjaman Kyle's identity answered one question only to raise another. What had he been doing for the nearly 30 years between the time he was seen in Colorado, and the summer morning he was found naked and unconscious outside the Burger King. When he fled Indiana, he cut most of his remaining ties of an already isolated life. After he was left in Boulder, he was all but alone, according to earning records filed with the Social Security Administration. He worked several restaurants in December. He had worked several restaurants in Denver till about 1983, but after that, no income was reported. And until 2004, there was no record of his existence.
And that's how he got found, because the government's like, you got some back taxes, bitch, you need to pay.
Thunk, thunk, thunk. Amnesia.
Huh. So does it tell, like, now that he's found his family and he knows who he is, does it talk about anything on that? Or is he still just kind of like, okay, I want to keep it all personal, or keep it not public?
Yeah, that's been kind of the thing, is now that he found his identity or whatever, then he's trying to keep all that private.
Gotcha. Well, we need to reach out to him. He can break that story on the show.
Well, not even just that. Like, what if he does this again? Because if he has a history of it, like, who's to say it won't happen again? And then 5 years, I'm Ronald McDonald.
Well, Richard, in this episode that I hope we never forget, do you have any Richard's closing thoughts?
I did, but I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
If for anybody out there that's listening to this podcast and you're homeless, for one, kudos. We appreciate the fact that, you know, even though you haven't had a chance to find a place to sleep, you still have a place to listen to the podcast. So that's great. Point number 2 is little life pro tip. Just tell everybody you have amnesia, and apparently you get a bunch of shit. So I hope you all do that, and you all get one-room air-conditioned shacks in Florida.
I think that's a good gig.
I wish only the best for all of you.
All right, well, let me do a little bit of housekeeping since we have a home and we're not homeless. Visit our website. We're at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter. We're at languageofbro. Email us at eatthebeaver@languageofbromance.com. Check out the LOB Army Intelligence Reports. Like us on Facebook. And go out and recruit somebody for the LOB Army by getting someone you know to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or Stitcher. And if you've tried and tried and tried, just try again, because maybe they forgot.
Maybe they forgot. Maybe I forgot. I'll tell you what, though, when you go to iTunes, be sure to rate and leave a review, because those ratings and those reviews help us so much, help us keep us in rankings in iTunes, and does all a bunch of good, healthy stuff.
And you can always check us out on the Pod Bros Network. I think it's the best podcast site on the internet. I don't remember.
I heard that somewhere.
Maybe.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, kind of like the time I worked at the strip club.
Yeah, good job.
And if you want to help us afford that 2x5 foot studio, go to our Patreon account. It's www.patreon.com/languageofbromance.
And then we won't be homeless.
Yeah. Is there anything else before I close her out?
I had something, but I don't know.
All right. Well, I think that's all the bromance we have for this show. I'm Sean.
And I'm Ronald McDonald.
And I say we eat the beaver.
Covered in fire ants.
Burns.
I'll tell you what, if I woke up covered in fire ants, I'd be like, last night was awesome.
Let's go to the videotape.